we know what the governors told us, that the president told them about the border and what he's considering with regards to executive actions. Just for the sake of clarity, can you tell us what the president told them?
I'm just not going to go into private conversations. I'm just not. The governors can speak for themselves. I'm just not going to go into it.
Okay. And Tammy Duckworth, the senator from Illinois, is talking about legislation that could protect IVF at the federal level. If Congress were to pass legislation to protect IVF, would President Biden sign it?
I have not seen the legislation. I have not talked to our Office of Legislative Affairs about it, so I want to be super careful here. Obviously, Tammy Duckworth, senator, is a close colleague, someone we've worked very closely with, so I just would need to talk to our Office of Legislative Affairs. We believe the best way, honestly, to get this done as it relates to the chaos that has been created is to get Roe to become law of the land, and that's something Congress can do. I want to be careful. I just don't want to speak to that particular legislation.
And are you actively trying to get additional funding for the Border Patrol or some of the other funds to help deal with the border situation added to the CR or whatever vehicle might have to move to avoid a government shutdown?
So, look, we're always having active conversations on what else we can do to deal with the challenges at the border, obviously. Don't have anything specific to lay out on any additional funding. Obviously, there was additional funding that we requested in that border security supplemental. Obviously, there would have been additional funding if the House Republicans would have moved forward with that bipartisan agreement that came out of the Senate, and Republicans didn't reject it outright. Obviously, that would have been helpful to what's happening, the challenges at the border. I just don't have anything to share on the specifics. Go ahead, Richard.
Some more on the border, Karine, but the northern one, it's not as dramatic as in the south, but there are different and more reports on migrants crossing the border to come to the U.S. Is the administration worried? Is it in contact with the Canadian government to try to stop the flow?
So look, we are in constant communication with our Canadian counterparts, obviously on a range of issues, including migrants attempting to cross the border. Don't have any new announcements to make, but we are constantly having those conversations with our counterparts in Canada. I just don't have anything for you at this time.
How worried is the administration that it's happening more and more?
I mean, look, I'm not going to put a gauge on this, on how worried we are, but we do have constant communication with our counterparts on a range of issues, including the one that you just laid out to me.
And on the sanctions, the Canadian government today, in parallel, announced its own package of sanctions against Russians and Russian entities. How was the coordination happening, the planning of all this?
I mean, obviously, I just laid out that we are in constant communication with our Canadian counterparts on a range of issues. Obviously, Canada has been a strong partner with us, along with 50 or 49 other countries, obviously, NATO, including NATO alliance as well, and what the president has been able to do to bring a strong front as it relates to helping Ukraine beat back with Russia's aggression. I don't have any specific conversations to lay out on how that potential coordination worked, but we are in constant communication with our Canadian counterparts.